Hi everyone! In this video I want to show you a game between Hikaru Nakamura and Nils Grandelius. The game was played in Tradewise Gibraltar Masters tournament from 2018 round 4. Let's see the game. White started with e4 and black replied with c5. We have the Sicilian. Knight to f3, d6, d4 attacking the center, c takes on d4, knight takes on d4, knight to f6 attacking the pawn, knight to c3 defending. a6, we have the knight of variation of the Sicilian. e3, developing another piece. e6, f3, protecting the pawn. And we have the Scheveningen variation English attack. The queen will come to d2. b5, expanding on the queen side, intending to put the light square bishop on the long diagonal. Queen to d2. b4. This is an inaccuracy because in an opening we need to develop pieces, and pawn moves are good only if they help us to develop a piece. Better was to put the knight on d7. White played knight to a4, knight bd7, and long castle. Queen to a5, attacking the knight, and the knight was protected with b3. Bishop to b7, developing the bishop. a3, attacking the pawn, taking advantage that the pawn is pinned. Queen to c7, a takes on b4, white is a pawn up, and d5, striking in the center. Bishop to f2, want to put the bishop on h2, b8 diagonal, and black prevented this with bishop to d6. If white plays bishop to g3, black takes, and after the recapture, black queen wins the pawn. Another way for black was to take on e4. In the game, white took on d5, and knight takes on d5. Black took with the knight. He didn't want it to take with the pawn because his light square bishop will be closed, but the bishop for the moment is looking at the pawn wall. White continued with bishop to g3 and rook to c8, bringing another piece into the game. Another way was to take the bishop and win the pawn. The light square bishop is good on the initial position, putting pressure on a6 pawn. White needs to push his pieces into black territory to take or attack something, and he did this by attacking the knight with c4. The pawn from b4 is free. Black took it with the bishop, attacking, and the queen goes forward to g5, attacking the pawn from g7. Queen to a5, getting away from the attack. The dark square bishop was attacking the queen. g7 and rook to f8. Black lost castling rights. Next, white needs to take or attack something. Taking on h7 is not working because black can go forward with the knight to c5. White will be in trouble. Let's see that line. The queen takes, knight to c5, king to b2, defending the pawn, knight takes on a4, b takes on a4, bishop to c3 check, king to c1, queen to b4, queen to b1, queen to a3 check, king to c2, and knight to b4 check. Queen has to take the knight. That's why in the game after rook to f8, white played knight to c2. If attacking moves are not working, white has two options. First, improve the position of his pieces or decrease the activity of opponent pieces. And second, neutralize opponent pieces that stand in your half of the board. With this move, the knight attacks the bishop. In the game, black attacked the knight from a4 with bishop to c6. If white takes the bishop from b4, black will recapture, and white cannot defend b3 pawn. If he tries to go with the king to b2, the knight drops because the pawn is pinned. If the king goes to c2, the knight goes to e3, forking the king and the rook. It seems that white has to take the knight with the rook and give the exchange. Another try for white is to take the knight from d5, and in this case bishop will take on a4, b takes on a4, queen takes on a4, bishop to d3, protecting against the mate that was threatened. Black is better in this position. So in the initial position, white cannot attack, he has to defend. In the game, he did this by bringing the queen back to a1. Black brought another piece into the game with knight to c5, attacking the knight, threatening to fork the queen and the king. White took the knight, queens were exchanged. In this position, taking the knight with the bishop would give white the knight. That's why in the game, black gave a check to the king, and the king cannot go to c2 due to the fork. That's why in the game he played king to d2, bishop to d4, check, and black has to go back or forward. The king goes to d3, and black saved the knight by putting it to c3, attacking the rook. White took the pawn from a6, attacking the bishop. Black gave a check, king to c2, rook takes on d1, winning the rook. White takes on b4, getting the bishop, threatening to take the knight. Rook takes on a1, king to c3. In this position, white is winning. He has a bishop and a knight for the rook and two connected best pawns on the queen side. Black continued with king to d7, bringing the king closer to the center, allowing the rook from f8 to come into the game. Knight to c2, attacking the rook, and rook to b1. Knight to e1, placing the knight on a protected square, allowing the light square bishop to go to d3, attacking the rook. Rook to a8. Black wants to come to the first line and attack the pieces that stand here. Bishop to d3, attacking. Rook to c1 check, king to d2, and rook a to a1. Black defends the rook with the other rook. The problem with this move is that the rook can be attacked with the bishop, and in the game white did this. A rook to d1 check, king to e2, rook a to c1. The drawback of this move is that the black rook has no squares to go, and after bishop to d2, white can take the rook. So black resigned. A possible continuation would be rook to b1, bishop takes on b1, rook takes on b1, bishop to f6, moving away from the attack, rook takes on b3, knight to d3, threatening a fork on c5, rook to a3, rook to d1, threatening some discovered checks, rook to a2 check, king to f1, defending the pawn, bishop to a4, attacking the rook, knight to e5, double check from the rook and the knight, king to c7, rook to d8, and white will go and pick up all black pawns from the king side. So this was the game between Hikaru Nakamura and Nils Grandelius. I hope that you learned something from this game. Please watch other games from my channel, and if you like this video clip, click the like button and subscribe. See you soon. Bye.